and that's talking what I call the Nazi solution. I don't mean the negative Nazi solution, which was the plan of the Nazis in the 1930s and actually in the 1940s to genocide, to kill all of the Jews and to try to conquer Europe. I'm not talking about that part. I'm saying the solution to their solution, which was to look at the pattern which happened to the Nazis and see that they came up with, at the end of, in a positive situation, what we say today. I'll just run through some of the points with you. The Nazis started out with a violent core group in the early 30s, like the Hamas did. And then they had repeated propaganda, which is what the Islamic Jihad and Hamas and other Islamic extremist groups do. And then they actually got elected into the government. When the Nazis were elected in 1932, they did not actually have a majority. They just had a plurality. Same thing happened in Gaza, where they won the election, Hamas, and then they immediately, 2007, killed all of the PLO leaders that were there to be able to take over the government. And then the Nazis went on after that to proceed with their plan of a genocide and conquest, and that's what's happening now with Hamas going forward to try to conquer us. But what happened after that was the rest of Europe tried to have a pacification and appeasement strategy. Well, let's just make peace treaties with them. Let's have ceasefires. It'll all work out. Let's sign a piece of paper. But that was totally absurd because that was not the philosophy of the Nazis. The Nazis were there to kill and to murder. The same thing is true of the jihadists and the Hamasdik and Hezbollah. They're not interested in an appeasement or a peace treaty with us. They want to wipe Israel off the map and kill the Jews. But after a while, the people realized that the appeasement program had totally failed, and they realized that they had to go and fight the war. That was a determining situation, and the Allies got together, the European allies, including Russia, England, France, the United States, and they realized they had to go in and conquer and drive out the Nazis out of Germany. That's the solution, which has to happen now, is that the civilized world has to realize that we have to drive out by war ISIS and every Islamic jihadist group, including Hamas. After that happened, Germany was divided in two. I'm not saying that has to happen with Gaza, but it's a possible solution. And then international oversight came in for Berlin. Maybe there has to be a division and an oversight also in Gaza at the end. And also, at the end of the war, Nazism was outlawed. Anything having to do with their symbols, their ideology, organizations, anything that was similar to it was totally outlawed. That's what also has to happen. In any nation where you want peace, that kind of Islamic jihadist rhetoric, symbolism organization has to be outlawed and reinforced by the police. When that happened, then Germany was rebuilt. They were divided in half for over 40 years, and then they were rebuilt. And today, Germany is one of the most prosperous nations in the world and has a wonderful relationship with Israel. This can happen with any Arab nation, that they can prosper and have a wonderful relationship with Israel if these conditions are set.